Good afternoon to one and all. Today, on behalf of Unique Academy, I welcome you all to a short discussion on Union Budget 2026-27. My dear friends, today in this particular lecture, we'll be taking a note of different components of budget and the numbers related with it. As far as different components of Union budget is concerned, we all together know that it is divided into revenue receipts, capital receipts, revenue expenditure, capital expenditure, and different type of deficits associated with it. So, considering all these, components, we'll be taking a note as to how India has moved and how India is trying to become financially stable. So we'll discuss with all the fiscal numbers related to it so that we can make an overall analysis that whether those fiscal numbers are sustaining or not. So to start with, we'll go by the receipts, and as far as the receipts are concerned, we'll take a look at revenue receipts. When you talk about revenue receipts, these receipts are recorded on day-to-day basis. So there are two sub-components of these revenue receipts. One is receipts in the form of taxation and another one is non-tax receipts. Now if you go by the numbers, then you can find it out that revenue receipts in 25-26 revised estimates, it is approximately 33 lakhs crores, wherein 26-27 government is estimating the budget estimates of 35 lakhs around crore. So altogether, approximately, as far as revenue receipts for the government in 26-27 is concerned, there is an increase of around 2 lakhs crores. Now we need to understand how this increase in 2 lakhs crores where the government will be gaining. Now if we look at tax revenue that is made to the center, it means after adjustments, after devolution to states, what the central government will be earning. So that is around 28.66 lakhs crores. It means again, if you look at revised estimates of 25-26 and 26-27, so altogether this is approximately an increase of around 2 lakhs crores. Now, as a country, why this becomes very, very important? This becomes very, very important that because of the fact that when as a country, if we are growing, automatically the contribution of taxation in overall, revenue need to be there. And that's what is the indication that tax to GDP ratio of the country is increasing. Because as a country, when we are expecting that our growth will be around 6 to 7%, so with growth rate of 6 to 7%, there need to be certain increase in tax revenue to the center, and that's what we can see from here. The government must have estimated this increase in tax revenue because government has recently brought out reforms either in new income tax act provisions or GST 2.0, wherein government brought a larger reform as far as tax rate slabs under GST is concerned. So government must be expecting that in the near future, on account of increase in consumption, government will be able to collect larger set of indirect tax, and that's what government must have estimated. So overall increase in tax revenue net to the center is around 2 lakhs crores from 26 to around 28 lakhs crore. As far as non-tax revenue is concerned, there is no significant change we can see in the numbers, and we can see that, in 25-26 and 26-27, there is hardly any change. In fact, we can see decrease in overall non-tax revenue. So non-tax revenue are those part of revenue receipts which the government incurs on account of, dividend received by the government, because government is a major shareholder of different public sector units, and out of the profitability, if the government is getting certain set of dividend, that becomes part of non-tax revenue. The other components of non-tax revenue can be interest payments being received by the government, and it can be other forms of non-tax receipts, can be, your S sheet, can be forfeiture, can be registration fee. All these will become part of non-tax receipts. So under non-tax receipts, as I told you all, that it comprises of, again I am repeating, it comprises of, dividend received by the central government. It can be interest received by the central government. It can be in the form of S sheet. It can be in the form of registration fee. It can be in the form of forfeiture. All these will become part of non-tax revenue. And those here under non-tax revenue, as I mentioned, that we are not seeing any significant change. Rather, the numbers are showing a decreasing trend, and that does not has larger impact on overall size of the budget. Now, if you look at the capital receipts, then we can see that, there is a larger change again under capital receipts. So, if you see the capital receipts, there are three components of capital receipts. One is recovery of loans, other one is market borrowings and other liabilities, and the third one is other receipts where, disinvestment of PSUs are also recorded under other receipts. Now we need to bifurcate the numbers as to how, the numbers talk, what does this number talks about capital receipts. So capital receipts in revised estimates of 25-26 and 26-27, if you can look at that, again approximately 2 lakhs crore again increase as far as capital receipts are concerned. So from 16 lakhs crores to around 18 lakhs crores, that's what is the change we can see under capital receipts. But when we will be bifurcating the capital receipts, there we can do a lot of interpretations. Under recovery of loans, we are saying a marginal change, not larger change, from 30,000 crores to 38,000 crores. From other receipts, from 33,000 crores to it's 80,000 crores. Here we can see a larger change, 33,000 to 80,000 crores. And again, if we look for, borrowing and other liabilities, there also, 15.58 lakhs crores to around 16.95 lakhs crores. 15 lakhs crores and 16.95 lakhs crores, 16.95 lakhs crores. Now, if you look at borrowings and other liabilities, so it's around, if you see the change between numbers of borrowings and other liabilities, it's approximately 1,50,000 crore increase in borrowings and other liabilities. Now, if you can expect that there will be, increase in borrowings and other liabilities to the extent which is being seen, then we can expect that in the near future, government will have larger interest liabilities. And that is going to impact the overall, spendings of the government also, because, in the years to come, if the government will be forced to pay largely for the interest, so government will have little space for, other set of, prioritized spendings also. So for a country, it becomes very, very important that government shall reduce the borrowings and other liabilities. Now, if you look at the borrowings and liabilities over the years, then we can find it out that, in revised estimates, in budget estimates of 25-26, it was 15.68 lakhs crores, which in reality was 15.58 lakhs crores. But now, if you look from 24-25, if you see these figures from 24 to 25 at actuals, if you can see here, 24-25, it was 15 lakhs 24,000 crores. Now, in revised estimates of 25-26, it has been reduced, but the budget estimation for 26-27, it is showing a drastic increase, and that's what is the question. The concern is if the government borrowing and other liabilities will increase, so automatically its repercussions will be felt on the interest payments. It means revenue expenditure part on account of increase in interest payment will go up in the near future. And that's why there is a larger need to reduce or control the borrowings and other liabilities. It means government should think of creating different other revenues for revenue generation rather than going for borrowings and other liabilities. If you see the overall total receipts, then if somebody asks you what is the size of the budget for our country for year 26-27, so total size of the budget is around 53 lakhs point 47 53.47 lakhs crores. I mean, that's what there is a larger change over the years as far as size of the Indian budget is concerned, and that's what is a progressive sign for a country like India. Now, if you look at the total expenditure, so total expenditure again has increased over the years. But if you look at the revenue side of it, revenue expenditure, now I must tell you the meaning of revenue expenditure. Revenue expenditures are routine expenditures of the government. Revenue expenditures are those expenditures which the government incurs on day-to-day basis. It can be on interest payments, it can be on pension, it can be defense services, it can be subsidies. So these type of expenditures are part of revenue expenditures. And if you look at the numbers of revenue expenditure, then we can find it out that, I mean, again, the budget estimates of 26-27 show that there will be larger increase in revenue expenditure. I mean, that is from 38.69 lakhs crores to 41.25 lakhs crores. Now, there is a larger chance that in 2026-27, government might be announcing 7th pay commission. So, I mean, the government has not disclosed whether this revenue expenditure has considered the expenditures increase in expenditures on account of 8th pay commission or not. So, if the government will be introducing 8th pay commission, so automatically that will burden, that will increase, that will put pressure on revenue expenditure of the government. So in the near future, we need to see that whether this revenue expenditure of 41 lakhs crores has been calculated considering the burden due to, I mean, 8th pay commission implementation or not. But anyway, if you look at the revenue expenditure, again, that's what, I mean, is showing an increase. We need to see also that our revenue deficits is at what percentage of GDP, so as to have better analysis about it. But one thing is certain, that the revenue expenditures as far as estimated budget budget estimations of 26-27 is showing an increase of around 3 lakhs crores. 3 lakhs crores. Now, if interest payments can be seen, then these interest liabilities, as I was discussing earlier also, कि हमारा जो interest payments है borrowings and other liabilities की वजह से in the near future में बढ़ेगा. और मैंने ये बात भी बोला कि जो हमारा borrowings and other liabilities है, जो 15.58 लाख करोड़ से बढ़कर 16.95 लाख करोड़ हुआ है, आने वाले दिनों में, फ्यूचर में इसका इंपैक्ट इंटरेस्ट लायबिलिटीज पर पड़ेगा. और ऐसा देखा भी जा रहा है कि जो पिछली गवर्नमेंट की बोरिंग है, उसकी वजह से जो इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट्स है ओवर द इयर्स हैज इंक्रीज्ड, एंड इट इज एस्टिमेटेड दैट 26-27 में जो इंटरेस्ट बर्डन होगा, दैट विल बी अराउंड 14.3 lakhs crores. ये इंटरेस्ट बर्डन होगा. What does this mean? This means that, you need 10,000 lakhs crores. It means 14 lakhs crores will be the interest payments as far as estimated, budget of 2026-27, and that is going to be huge. If you look at, 14 lakhs crores out of, a budget size of 50 lakhs crores, so automatically you can expect that it's around 25% of the total budget size. Key total budget size ka 25%, if a particular country is spending for the interest payments, that's what is not a very sustaining numbers. Because if the overall budget size is 53 lakhs crores, so automatically, 14 lakhs crores if the interest payment is, so automatically it comes to in around 20-25%. For a country like India, there are a lot of welfaristic expenditure need to be taken care of. There is lot of infrastructure spendings to be taken care of. And out of the overall budget size of 53 lakhs crores, a country cannot afford to spend 40 lakhs. It means 25% of the budget size on, interest payments. That is not sustaining. That is not very encouraging. Now, if you look at grants in aid for creation of capital assets, again, this is showing a substantial increase, and the increase is around, 4 lakhs for creation. Grants in aid has increased from 3 lakhs crores to 4.92 lakhs crores approximately. That's what is again a very not very encouraging sign. But then as far as creation of capital assets is concerned, that we can consider it to be, it's good that money will be spent for asset creation. If you look at the capital expenditure, that's where our focus is. As a country, when we are willing to grow, so capex, capital expenditure is very important. And if you look at the increase in capital expenditure, number one, if we want to be competitive with the rest of the world, capital expenditure is very, very important, whether it's infrastructure whether it's physical infrastructure, social infrastructure, or digital infrastructure. So government need to spend in order to support a GDP size of or GDP growth of 7 to 6%. Infrastructure contribution shall always be there. And in the last 1 or 2 years, what we can see, or in the last few years also, government's overall focus on capital expenditure has increased, and that's what is being shown in the budget also, budget estimates also, that overall from 10.95 lakhs crores to, there is increase from 10.95 lakhs crores to 12.21 lakhs crores, and that's what is the healthy sign as far as infrastructure spendings are concerned. And if you look at effective capital expenditure is nothing but it's addition of capital expenditure along with grants in aid to states for creation of capital assets. दोनों को ऐड करके हम effective capital expenditure निकालते हैं. तो अगर हम टोटल देखें कि out of 53 lakhs crores के बजट में हमने कैपेक्स पर कितना खर्च किया टोटल, so that comes to around 17 lakhs crores, and that's again is a very good sign कि जहां पर effective capital expenditure हमारा बढ़ता हुआ नजर आ रहा है from 14 lakhs crores to 17.14 lakhs crores, and that again is an encouraging sign for a country like India. Now, if you look at the revenue deficit, so revenue deficits has constantly, government has pegged it or estimated it as a part of 1.5% of GDP. It means whatever may be the efforts being taken by the government in order to increase the tax revenue, the revenue expenditure has also increased over the years, and that's why government has not that much space in order to reduce the fiscal deficits. In ideal condition, for any country, revenue deficit shall be equal to zero in ideal condition. But for a developing country like India, we are in a position to reduce the revenue deficits as far as possible. That's what can be considered to be very sustaining, because most of the revenue expenditures are consumption-based expenditure. So as a country, we do not have that much fiscal space in order to spend largely for consumption-based. We need to have something to be spent on infrastructure investment. We need to spend something for capital expenditure so that can support more economic growth, and more economic growth will help in resolving the challenges of poverty, unemployment, and other issues being faced by the society. Next is effective. Next, I'll be focusing upon fiscal deficit and primary deficit. So, if you look at the fiscal deficit, government has tried to bring it down from 4.4% of GDP to 4.3% of GDP. That's what though although government is making efforts in order to become fiscally stable, but then there is no larger change we can see. Our overall fiscal deficits will be, government will be trying to, because as a part of GDP, if you can look at the fiscal deficits, government has been trying to reduce it from 4.4% of GDP to 4.3% of GDP. But then if you can see the numbers, the number is showing an increasing trend. What does this means? That overall deficits of the government has increased, but then when you are measuring in terms of as a percentage of GDP, due to increasing GDP, the number is showing a declining trend. So though the absolute numbers are increasing of fiscal deficits, if we are converting in terms of GDP, that the number is showing a decreasing trend. However, the government in the medium to long term will always see that, will always try to find out ways and means where it can reduce, where it can try to reduce the the level of fiscal deficits as a percentage of GDP. Now, if you look at the primary deficits, so primary deficits again, the numbers are showing an increasing, absolutely, in absolute terms, it's showing an increasing trend, but when it is converted in terms of as a percentage of GDP, that is showing a declining trend. So, primary deficits are those deficits when you adjust interest payments from fiscal deficit, that's what gives primary deficit. Now, so overall, since interest payments are increasing, so automatically, primary deficits will be, determined based on what are the interest payments for the government. Now, if you look at the fiscal deficits, how we can determine fiscal deficits? So, calculating fiscal deficits, what we do, in overall total expenditure, we add revenue receipts, but under capital receipts, we only consider, other receipts and as well as recovery of loans. As a part of total receipts for the calculation of fiscal deficits, we do not consider market borrowings and other liabilities, because markets, borrowings and other liabilities are not government own revenue, own receipts, because this government has borrowed from outside and that need to be repaid back in the near future along with the rate of interest. And that's why while calculating overall deficits for the country, that is fiscal deficit, government does not consider borrowings and other liabilities to be part of overall total receipts in calculating fiscal deficits. So although absolute numbers are showing an increase in fiscal deficit from actual estimates of revised estimates of 25-26 to budget estimates of 26-27, the absolute numbers of fiscal deficits have increased, but then when calculated in terms as a percentage of GDP, that is showing a slight decrease from 4.4% of GDP to 4.3% of GDP. What does this mean? That in the near future, government need to create more fiscal space, either by showing increase in total receipts or decrease in total expenditure. So my dear friends, all these are the numbers related to budget. What you can summarize here is that the overall budget size is 53 lakhs crores. Since the size of the budget is 53 lakhs crores, there is increase of approx 2 lakhs crores as far as taxation revenue is concerned, and that increase in 2 lakhs crore is from 26.74 lakhs crores to 28.66 lakhs crores. If you look at the borrowings and other liabilities, there is again a substantial increase in borrowings and other liabilities. Now, if you look at the revised figures for 25-26 as far as borrowings and other liabilities is concerned, it's around 15.58 lakhs crores, which is expected to increase to 16.95 lakhs crores. This further means that in the near future, the interest liabilities of the government is going to be increased, and that is not a very encouraging sign for a country, because if you are borrowing near about 17 lakhs crores from the government, so borrowing 70 lakhs crores means that approximately, 25% of the budget size you are borrowing, and that will have future repercussions in the form of interest payment liabilities. Because the overall budget size is 53 lakhs crores, and out of which 17 lakhs crores you are borrowing from outside, it means 25% of the total budget size. So 25% of the total budget size as a country you are borrowing, it means you are not creating enough avenues, enough space as far as receipts are concerned. Now again, if we look at total expenditure, again, as I told you, if we are trying to assess the total expenditure, we need to assess to what extent government is spending on revenue part, and to what extent government is spending on capital part. So if any particular government is spending largely on capital expenditure for a developing economy like India, that is always a good sign. And that's what we can see, that there is a small change or a small increase in capital expenditure, and that's what has increased from 10.95 lakhs crores to 12.21 lakhs crores. So government, in order to support a growth rate of 6 to 7%, government need to spend largely on infrastructure, which will induce economic growth further, creating avenues for, employment opportunities. So no doubt that is a good sign, but we would have expected that the government should create more fiscal space for capital expenditure and reducing, its revenue expenditure in whatever form it can reduce it. But if you look at the revenue expenditure, as I told you, that those are day-to-day expenditures of the government. So it is bound to increase from 38 lakhs crores. It is bound to increase from 38 lakhs crores to 41 lakhs crores, 38.69 lakhs crores to 41.25 lakhs crores. So these are day-to-day spendings of the government. And as I told you, that these revenue expenditures are in the form of interest payments. These revenue expenditures are in the form of wages and salary being given to central government employees. These revenue expenditures are in the form of subsidies, so defense services. So these becomes part of revenue expenditures, which are largely consumption based. As far as revenue deficit is concerned, we did not see any change in revenue deficits, though the absolute numbers are showing an increasing trend as far as revenue deficit is concerned, changing from 5.26 lakhs crores to 5.92 lakhs crores. And similarly with fiscal deficit, we can see that there is absolute increase in fiscal deficit, but then we are only seeing a small increase, a small decrease in overall fiscal deficits as a percentage of GDP is concerned. As I told you, fiscal deficit is overall deficit for the country, and a 4.3% fiscal deficit as a percent of GDP, is also not very low, not very high, but it's a moderate, and government need to take measures in order to reduce the level of fiscal deficit for the country in the near future, because of the level of fiscal deficits will determine the date of government date in the near future, because deficits is flow variable, while date is a stock variable. If we are not able to reduce the deficits over a period of time, so automatically that gets converted into debt. So government need to try its best in order to reduce fiscal deficits so that it can create more space for future welfareistic measures. So this is all from my side as far as budget numbers are concerned. So thank you so much, my dear viewers, and I wish you all the best. Thank you so much.